Good morning to everyone. My name is Hazwani binti Mohammad Azam, and today I will be presenting our research paper entitled Factors Affecting Financial Literacy Among Independent Oil Palm Smallholders, a case study in Felda, Sebertak, Pahang. This study was conducted alongside my co-authors, Nur Wajiha Muhammad Nawi and Nur Shahira Muhammad Rodi, representing Faculty of Plantation and Agrotechnology at Universiti Teknologi Mara. To understand why this research is vital, we must first look at the agricultural landscape of Malaysia. Today, smallholders manage roughly 28% of the total oil palm planted area across the country. They are responsible for generating 40% of the entire national palm oil production output. This means their operational success directly dictates national agricultural GDP and shapes rural poverty alleviations. However, as highlighted on the slide, these smallholders face severe financial volatility. They operate as price takers in a global commodity market and rely heavily on local intermediaries to sell their fresh fruit bunches, exposing them to continuous financial vulnerability. This structural vulnerability creates what we define as the operational capital gap. Unlike corporate plantation with dedicated finance department, individual smallholders handle highly complex microeconomics on their own. First, their income operates on bi-weekly cash cycle based on harvest. This requires meticulous budgeting to cover variable input costs such as fertilizers and labor throughout the month. Second, they face the massive financial hurdle of the replanting phase. When all palm reach the end of their economic life cycle, replanting demands high upfront capital expenditure, followed by up to several years of zero revenue while the new trees mature. Finally, there is a pervasive accounting inadequacy where most smallholders do not separate personal household expenses from business farm expenditure, making it almost impossible to calculate their true cost of production. Looking at the demographic variables, authors like Yao in 2022 found that age strongly influenced financial behavior, with younger generations generally displaying higher awareness of interest rate and credit structures. Kathnick in 2024 emphasized that formal education builds financial resilience by allowing individuals to properly calculate credit risk. Regarding to the household size, research by Jean in 2024 shows that larger household size often dilute financial literacy because immediate consumption pressures overrides long-term credit planning. On the other side of the literature, we look at resources and exposure. Ullah in 2020 demonstrate that larger land acreage provides a greater structural incentive for farmers to learn complex financial management. When it comes to financial practices, Clapper and Lusardi in 2019 argued that while bank account ownership provide access to financial system, the true benefit to financial literacy is only realized when farmers actively and continuously engage in financial behaviors. To test these variables in a local context, we designed a quantitative study centered on Felda Sebertak located in Bera, Pahang. From a total population of 330 registered independent smallholder in this area, we utilized a purposive sampling methods to gather a sample of 178 respondents. Data collection was conducted through face-to-face structured questionnaire. The data was then analyzed using SPSS, employing descriptive statistics, ANOVA, Pearson correlation, and multiple linear regression to predict the factors affecting financial literacy. The sample is heavily male dominated at 71.38% and highly mature with 43.8% of respondents aged 60 years or older. This aligns with the wider national trend of an aging farming population. Education levels are predominantly primary at 44.4%, and the most common monthly income bracket sits between RM 3,001 ringgit and RM 4,000. Crucially, looking at the experience and land area, over half, which is 53.9%, have been farming for more than 20 years, and 22 and 42.1% manage plots between 9 to 10 acres. This gives us a profile of an aging, highly experienced, traditional smallholder community. Now let us move into the core findings of our study. We calculated the Pearson correlation coefficient against financial literacy. Both variables are found significantly correlated to financial literacy. Financial practices and exposure yielded a strong, highly significant correlation of R equal to 0.638. In comparison, farm and resource access showed a much weaker, moderate correlation of R equal to 0.327. What does this tell us? It proves that a smallholder's daily interaction with financial mechanism, like maintaining accounting logs and operating banking tools, is a vastly superior driver of financial intelligence than merely owning land assets. This mirrors the practical learning of effect noted by Miracle in 2023, where repeated real world exposure serves as an informal, highly potent educational tools. Our ANOVA testing brought to light what we call the performance paradox. Intuitively, one might assume that farmers with over 20 years of experience would possess the highest financial insights. However, our study revealed the exact opposite. Younger farmers aged under 30, as well as operators less than 5 years of experience, significantly outperformed seasoned veterans. We call this the habit trap. Long tenured operators frequently rely on rigid, traditional cash habits that have remained unchanged for decades. Newer, younger operators enter the industry with a higher baseline of digital exposure, making them far more adaptable to modern financial planning. Furthermore, we observe land size paradox where smallholders managing modest plot of 7 to 8 acres scored higher than those managing over 10 acres. This suggests that expanding acreage without a parallel increase in managerial training actually overwhelmed the farmer's financial capacity. To confirm this insight, we constructed a multiple linear regression model. Only financial practice and exposure is found significantly related to financial literacy. With a highly significant model fit, financial practice and exposure emerge as the definitive positive predictor of financial literacy with P less than 0.05. P less than 0.01. Meanwhile, farm and resource access is found not significantly related to financial literacy. This is a massive takeaway for agricultural researchers. Asset ownership alone does nothing to improve financial literacy. Handing a farmer more land without upgrading their financial practices is an efficient use of resources that fails to build economic resilience. Because daily practice is the true key to financial literacy, we must look closer at the role of systemic record keeping. Record keeping acts as a form of experiential learning capital. When a smallholder tracks every ringgit spent on chemical inputs or harvest logistics, it builds an intrinsic understanding of profit margins. Farmers can use digital ledger on mobile apps and cloud accounting to minimize error. Okay, record keeping also allowing smallholders to evaluate profit margins and also improve their credit worthiness. In conclusion, our study underscores that a profound paradigm shift is required in how we support our agricultural smallholders. We propose three targeted policy interventions. First, we must shift away from the classroom based financial theory. Government agencies should deploy action based learning built around hands on simulated farm ledger management. Second, commercial and development bank must prioritize digital simplification. Financial apps must feature highly intuitive, localized user interface to remove technology fears for our aging demographic. Finally, we recommend the implementation of strategic credit. Access to agricultural subsidies and replanting loans should be structurally linked to a farmer's participation in verified financial management workshops. Our final insight is clear. Policy must move from simply distributing physical assets to actively fostering financial capability. That brings me to the end of my presentation. I want to express my sincere gratitude to the faculty, our reviewers, and everyone watching this recording. If you have any question, please feel free to reach out to me at the given email address. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.